A very good morning to you guys. We are back again with another masterclass. This is your IELTS advisor, Rahul. Hope you like our previous masterclass. Today's masterclass is all about writing task 2, as it's the most dreadful section of IELTS. In this session, our IELTS expert Ekta Bansal will unfold a 3-step formula for task 2 essays. I request you to stay connected with us as there will be question, answers, and round in this masterclass. And we will be sharing a free gift away for people who will be staying with us till the end. So without taking much time, I will hand over to Ekta ma'am. Ekta ma'am, you can continue.
Hi, thank you, Rahul. A very good morning to everyone. This is Ekta Bansal, and I welcome you all to our masterclass, The Untold Hacks of IELTS Writing Task 2. So today I'll be taking up IELTS Writing Task 2 in detail. We'll be discussing various basics and we'll be digging deep into the structure and other things related to Task 2. But before that, I would please request you to introduce yourselves. Please mention your names and towns in the chat box. Okay, so let's take a look at what is our today's agenda. First of all, we'll be discussing task 2, the way to attempt task 2, the structure for writing IELTS task 2, as in what all is required in a task 2 essay. Furthermore, we'll be understanding how is a task 2 marked. What are the assessment parameters for IELTS writing task 2? On what basis the examiner may allot you a high or a lower band? Thereafter, I'll be sharing an ideal writing code with you. This will add clarity to your thoughts and help you gain a high band in IELTS. Followed by that will be the question answer round, where we'll be addressing all your queries. And thereafter, we'll take a deep insight into Divi's platform to understand how Divii actually helps students gain their desired scores. Last but not the least, we'll be sharing gifts as a token of thanks with all our live attendees. So please stay with us till the end of the session. Okay, IELTS task 2 is generally thought of as a very difficult task. But IELTS task 2, once you have an idea about what it is exactly and how to attempt it, it will no more be a nightmare for you. So IELTS task 2 is basically the second part of writing test. And it accounts for nearly 66% or 2/3 of your total writing score. It is considered difficult, but after today's masterclass, it will be difficult no more. Okay. For all those who are planning for academic or for general training exams, IELTS writing is more or less the same. Okay, all you have to do is to attempt an essay when it comes to IELTS writing. The only difference being that for academic, you are required to write in a university style. So the language has to be a little more formal. While for a general training test, you have to keep public audience in mind. So your writing style can be a little informal. Let's understand what is an ideal structure for attempting a task 2. there are certain skills that can make a difference between getting and not getting the score you desire. Okay, so an ideal structure to attempt IELTS essay would be divided into 3 parts. Number 1 is the introduction. Number 2 shall be the body paragraphs. And number 3 would be the conclusion. So in this class, we'll be looking in detail at what an introduction is like. What exactly are you expected to write in an introduction? What should be constituted in body paragraphs? And what should be a conclusion like? All right. So introduction, what is an introduction? Just give it a thought. Introduction is the first part of the essay. Okay, so this will give a first impression to the examiner and they will get a rough idea of what your essay is going to look like. A strong introduction can make a difference between a band 6 and a band 8. So you should make sure that you begin your essays very well so that you aim for a higher band. Okay, let's continue further to understand what exactly is expected in introduction. Now, a good introduction constitutes of 3 important paragraphs, 3 important sentence structures. The first one being the paraphrase statement. The second one will be the thesis statement. And the last one would be the outline. So what is a paraphrase statement? What is a thesis statement? And what is an outline? Let's understand these because these 3 sentences are what make your introductory paragraph exactly. Okay, let's move further. Okay, paraphrase statement. Paraphrasing is simply rewriting a phrase or a sentence so that it means the same but uses different words. All right, so paraphrase is to rewrite the same thing in different words. Now there are 2 ways of doing this. One would be to change the order of the words, while the second one would be to use synonyms. Let us look at an example to understand this better. Okay, before we continue further, please introduce yourselves in the chat box. Right, let's look at an example. As languages such as Spanish, Chinese, and English have become more widely used, there's a fear that minority languages may die out. So if this is the question, take few seconds to think how you are going to paraphrase it. Okay, we can paraphrase it in 2 ways. Let us consider an example by changing the order of words first. The statement could be rewritten like, there is a fear that many minority languages may die out as languages such as Spanish, Chinese, and English become more widely used. We could also add some synonyms to rephrase the same statement. And it would be like, there is a dismay that many lesser used languages may pass away as languages such as Chinese, English, and Spanish become more broadly spoken. So what are we doing in both the cases? We are reframing sentences to paraphrase the question statement. And this new statement in turn becomes the first statement of our introductory paragraph. All right, so this is the way we'll begin our IELTS writing task 2. Thesis statement. This is the second part of our introductory paragraph. Thesis is the main idea. It's your main idea. It gives an insight into the way you feel about the whole issue. So after the first introductory statement, you are going to share your opinion in one sentence, which will be identified as a thesis statement. All right, so this will give an idea to the examiner if you have understood the question and how clearly you've understood the question. And as an aspirant, it will give your essay a more coherent approach. Let us take a look at another example. There is a good deal of evidence that increasing car use is contributing to global warming and having other undesirable effects on people's health and well-being. Do you agree or disagree? So if you have to write a thesis statement for the same, it could be something like, this essay agrees that increasing use of motor vehicles is contributing to rising global temperatures and certain health issues. So isn't this statement clearly specifying what is your take in the essay? What is your take about the topic? Yes, I would like to know your opinions as well. So please keep writing your opinions in the chat box for us to interact better and for me to help clear up your doubts in a better way. Okay, so thesis statement is a statement which tells the examiner about your approach, your understanding and your take on the essay, on the topic that is under consideration. So as you can see, this sentence makes it absolutely clear to the examiner how you feel about the question. And the rest of your essay should be in support of this statement. The third part of IELTS essay, introductory paragraph, would be the outline statement. After introducing the topic, which is the paraphrasing statement, you have to talk about the thesis statement where you will give your opinion, and next comes the outline statement. Outline statement will tell the examiner what they will read in the rest of the essay. This should be one sentence only, because you are not going to share details here. This is the third part of the introductory paragraph. So you are just going to wind it up in one sentence and continue giving details in the further paragraphs in the same essay. Okay, so this was all about the introductory paragraph. Let us take an example of an outline statement. There's a good deal of evidence that increasing car use is contributing to global warming and having other undesirable effects on people's health and wealth. So the first sentence that goes into the introductory paragraph is the paraphrase statement. The second sentence would be the thesis statement. And here comes the outline statement. Firstly, this essay will discuss the production of greenhouse gases by vehicles. And secondly, it will discuss other toxic chemicals released by internal combustion engines. So what are we doing here? We are telling the examiner what we are going to talk about in the remaining essay. Okay. So I hope it's clear that an introductory paragraph would consist of 3 parts: the paraphrase statement, the thesis statement, and the outline statement. Guys, it's very important to write a good introduction. So please make sure that you understand this part very well. If you have any doubts, you can please come up with them right now. I'm here to answer your queries. Please write your doubts in the chat box. Okay, so furthermore, in the essay, we are supposed to create a body paragraph 1 and a body paragraph 2. In the body paragraphs, you'll be talking about the main idea, which is also called the topic sentence. You'll be supporting your main idea with explanation and reasons. This shall be further supported with examples. Similarly, for body paragraph 2, it will begin with the main idea 2, then the explanation, then reasons, and then examples. Examples are a very important part of IELTS writing, and examples could be anything from real life scenarios or anything that you've read or heard about. Let's understand how to write a good body paragraph. To write a good body paragraph, it is important to plan everything before you start writing. So please spend about 1 minute to plan the essay before you start writing anything. Take a note of your main ideas and supporting reasons. Now, once there's clarity of thought and once your ideas are planned well, it would be much easier to write them down. Okay, every body paragraph should contain only one main idea. This is important. Every body paragraph should contain one main idea relating to the position you gave in your introduction. For example, if in the essay is asking you to agree or disagree, and you have chosen to agree with the question statement, then your body paragraph 1 should contain an idea relating to agreeing with the question statement. That should be further supported with reasons, as in why you agree, okay, and explanation that how you are correct. Further, you should quote examples to support your reason. Similarly, in the second body paragraph, you will be talking about another main idea and then supporting your main idea with reasons and examples. Okay. In an entire essay, you should have no more than 3 body paragraphs. Do not overwrite. That creates a bad impression altogether. There are more chances of mistakes. So please limit your thoughts. You cannot always, just add everything that you're thinking about. So you have to learn to be selective. You have to plan things and write in a very coherent and cohesive way. Okay. Also, there's a time restriction. You have around 40 minutes to write your IELTS task 2. So usually 2 body paragraphs should be enough. So start your body paragraph by giving an idea which relates to the position you gave in the introduction. This sentence is also called the topic sentence because this gives an idea to the reader about the topic of the paragraph. And then you add supporting details further. Okay. Now, after you give the topic sentence, you need to add supporting examples. As already mentioned, examples are very important. So please develop that habit of adding examples to your write-ups. Conclusion. The last important, rather very important part of an IELTS essay is the conclusion. Conclusion is an important part of your writing task too. A good conclusion is not just a summary. Okay, please understand this. A good conclusion is not just a summary, but it helps to emphasize the importance of the main points. So conclusion is to be attempted in 2 steps. Number 1, paraphrase the question. Number 2, summarize main ideas. Conclusion needs to be short and crisp. So please make a point to not to write a lengthy conclusion. A lengthy conclusion, however well written, is not a conclusion actually. A conclusion always needs to be short and crisp. So how do we attempt the conclusion? First of all, we'll paraphrase the question statement once again, and then we'll summarize the conclusion, the main ideas in few sentences. So these are the 2 steps to write an effective conclusion. Okay, let us look at tips to write an effective conclusion. Tip number 1, refer back to your introductory paragraph. Now, if you remember, we discussed that introductory paragraph consists of 3 steps: paraphrase the question statement, give a thesis statement, give an outline statement. Right? So when we begin to write our conclusion, we need to relook at our introductory paragraph and paraphrase the question statement once more to wind up the whole essay. Next, you should summarize your essay's main arguments, only the main arguments. Do not try to include everything here. Remember, the conclusion needs to be short and crisp because that is how it will be effective. Do not introduce a new argument. Now, for all the candidates, it is very important to understand that you are not supposed to introduce a new argument in the conclusion part. Okay, conclusion is not the place to introduce a new argument. Body paragraphs are the areas where you are supposed to add arguments. Conclusion is just like winding up. It is very important to write conclusion, so do not omit conclusion in any case. Even if you're running short of time, please make it a point to write a short, quick conclusion. You cannot expect good bands if you're not writing a conclusion in your essay. It is advised to use linking phrases to write conclusion. Phrases like in a nutshell, in general, in conclusion, to conclude. Okay, these are some of the examples which we can use to begin our conclusion. For example, to conclude, I would like to mention that in a nutshell, it would be right to say that in general, it can be understood. Okay, so please use linking words to conclude your IELTS essay. Okay. Having understood the structure of IELTS essay, now before I proceed, I would like to ask all the attendees if there are any doubts related to the structure of the IELTS essay. You may please post queries related to the structure of IELTS essay, and then we can start to understand the assessment parameters. Okay. Let us take a look at the assessment parameters of IELTS Writing Task 2. Now, what are assessment parameters? Assessment parameters are the marking criteria for your essay. The IELTS examiners have certain guidelines on the basis of which they give you marks, they give you bands for what you write. So there are 4 testing criteria. Number 1 is the task response. Now, what is a task response? Task response is how well you have responded to the question or the questions that have been asked. It is very important to attempt all the parts of an IELTS question. There could be some subparts in the essay, and it is mandatory to attempt or to answer all of them. So you will be allotted marks depending upon whether you have properly responded to all the questions that have been asked. Here is a typical question. Researching one's family tree is becoming a popular trend. Why do you think that this is so? Is this a positive or a negative trend? Now, how many parts of a question are there? 2 parts. This is the statement, researching one's family tree is becoming a popular trend. The questions being asked are, why do you think that this is so? And is this a positive or a negative trend? So answering both these parts is important. And these are the parts which will constitute your body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. This will be a body paragraph 1 where you will be talking about why researching one's family tree is becoming a popular trend. And this question part will be your body paragraph 2 where you will be talking about your opinion, where you will be telling the reader that is it a negative or a positive trend. And after you state your take on it, you will also be supporting it with reasons and examples. So please note that you must address both the questions. Okay. The second parameter for testing your IELTS essays is coherence and cohesion. Coherence and cohesion refer to the logical sequencing of your thoughts and ideas. You cannot just haphazardly present your points. There has to be a correlation between your thoughts and ideas. So you have to logically sequence your thoughts and present them in the way that the reader can understand what you are trying to say and your essay becomes persuasive. Okay, you have to lead them into your essay starting with the topic sentence and then compounding that with the idea. So it is very important to write your essays in a proper logical manner. The third parameter for assessing your IELTS essays is the grammar. Grammar refers to grammatical accuracy of your work. So make sure you do not make errors like using incorrect articles or in using singular plural nouns or in the uses of prepositions or tenses. Please be aware of the sentence structures and make sure you use a variety of sentence structures. The fourth parameter for assessing the IELTS Writing Task 2 is the lexical resource or vocabulary. For a high score, you need to tell the examiner that you have broad vocabulary. How do you do that? By using more formal and uncommon words. Avoid the commonly used words like very, but. Okay, instead use informal, uncommon words. You can use synonyms for the commonly used words, but please make sure that the words that you use are in correct context. Misused words will rather pull your scores down. So it is important to understand that you use good words, provided you're sure of their meaning and their usage as well. Each of these four parameters, the task response, cohesion coherence, grammar, and lexical resource, they make up for 25% of your overall marks in IELTS writing. So each of them will be giving you a share out of 25% of the total score. Okay. Let's now talk about the writing code for IELTS essay. The objective of a good writer should be to express the ideas clearly. Ideas well expressed are the ideas which will be accounted for. So, as an aspirant, you must make sure that your ideas are very well expressed. There's a lot of clarity in your thoughts and in the way you're presenting your viewpoint. Each paragraph should be talking about one particular thing. If it is an introduction, please limit it to introduction. If they are the body paragraphs, please talk about one main idea in one body paragraph. Support it with reasons and examples. Talk about another main idea in another body paragraph. Support it with reasons and examples. And finally, conclude your writing by summarizing the main ideas. Do not try to talk about different things randomly. The reader should be able to understand your thought in one go. Always remember that the technical language is formal. You're not supposed to use contractions in your IELTS essay. You're not supposed to use the word etc. Etc. is considered to be a very lazy word, as in when you're not ready to write more and you just add this word etc. So this is not acceptable for a high band score. So no contractions, no abbreviations, no etc., no slang words, in fact, no informal vocabulary at all. Okay. Another important thing to understand is that unless you're asked to give your opinion, please avoid using personal opinions, or at least do not overuse them. Only if the essay is asking you to give your opinion, then you use terms like I think, in my point of view. Otherwise, please try giving your own personal opinions. It is important to understand that an important standard in technical language is the use of impersonal language, impersonal pronouns. So please avoid saying I do this, I like this, in my point of view, unless and until you are asked to do so. Avoid careless mistakes. Try to proofread and read aloud. Answer all parts of the question. Please do remember to answer all parts of the question. Do not miss out on any subpart in the question. There could be 2 parts, there could be 3 parts in your question, or there could be a general statement where you would have been asked to throw some light on the topic and give your opinion. But if you are asked some specific questions, some subparts are there in the question, please make sure that you answer them all well. Okay, so before I provide you an insight into the Divii platform, I request all those who are there with us to please introduce themselves in the chat box. Yes, we would like to stay in touch with you. So please introduce yourselves in the chat box before we take a look into the Divi's platform. Okay. Okay, so let's move ahead with something special that will add spark to your preparation. Okay, we are providing a flat 60% off on one-to-one classes. This offer is for a limited period and for the first 15 enrollments. So please join our instant course, premium course, and get an instant discount. Here you will be provided with 15 live interactive sessions, 15 guided online sessions, 100 mock tests and practice tests, unlimited doubt clearing sessions, and you have the flexibility for timing. So what exactly happens when you opt for one-on-one classes with Divii? A private IELTS mentor is assigned only for you. So they understand your level of understanding and they work on your weak areas and help you learn at your own pace. Since the classes are one-on-one, the students can share their doubts more openly. And you have an unlimited feedback and doubt resolution. You end up in gaining confidence and feeling motivated for the exam. Right, so it's time to take up your doubts. I would like to answer queries, if any. You can also get in touch with the Divii team on the links mentioned in the chat box for any doubts or any queries if you have. Okay. Now I'll help you understand how Divii actually helps its aspirants in achieving their desired band score. So this is how we provide feedback to our students. For example, if it is a writing task and you submit your task to us for review, we not only highlight your errors, but we also suggest you corrections. This feedback is very, very personalized. And we also help you with your estimated band score, which is done on certain criteria. Considering all the 4 assessment parameters, we give you an estimated score and an overall score for the task that you attempt. So you get a personalized feedback and also an expert-led band prediction. Okay. When it comes to speaking, you record yourself and share your answers with your trainers. And you get real-time feedback on how you performed. And we help you practice until you are 100% correct. Divii provides you with a set of ebooks which are at your disposal. You can use them to practice. You can share your tasks, your assignments with your trainers. The scoring, the marking system is AI implemented. These books are assigned to you once you subscribe for the course, and they are with you for your reference even after 6 months of your completion of the course. So you can use them to learn and practice even for 6 months after your course has completed. There are things like bookmark, there are things like share in the books. You get unlimited practice questions in these books. Now, this is an example of one of the tests. This is how you get a check to your answers. You attempt your questions and you are provided with the correct answers once you submit your test. So you get to know your mistakes and you can improve for future. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that now so that you stay updated with the latest and you're provided with all the relevant details in future. So at Divii, we provide you AI implemented performance analysis, analyze and generate progress reports. This is what our system does on its own. And this system is owned and created by Divii itself. It is not outsourced. So it becomes very easy for a candidate to track their performance, to compare and compete with other students in the batch. Okay, so you are provided with assignments on regular basis. You are provided with a time limit to solve the assignments and submit them back. This gives you a feel of the real exam. The assignments are similar to what you actually get in the IELTS exam. They are appropriately timed. So once you attempt these assignments, you get a real feel of the exam. At Divii, we provide you with video examples. The way of learning is very engaging. In fact, I can say that learning will be fun. You learn pronunciations, styles, and expressions. And you also understand how to use them in real life situations. We provide you a messenger-based classroom, which lets you interact with our top educators who are masters at online live tutoring. You may ask your doubts in one-to-one personal chat system, and you can get your doubts cleared anywhere, anytime. So what are you waiting for? It's time to turn your failures into success. Divi's Hall of Fame has many success stories. We have helped many students get their dream job or get admission into their dream universities, and you could be the next one. So finally, the moment has come. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels and stay updated. And for any doubts, you can please find us at info@divii.com or call and WhatsApp us on the number provided in the chat box. Hope you had an informative session, and I'll see you soon in the next masterclass. Thank you.